What's going on, y'all? Another episode of BMB-TV. And now, been probably about 2 weeks that I hadn't put anything up. Just had some stuff that needed to take care of, and it was a little busy work. But I had some epiphanies come up lately, and for a few minutes, want to share them with you. And I was sitting thinking about what in the world is making it that all the races and cultures of people just don't want to get along with each other. Everyone wants to be above someone, or people try to lie to you and make it seem like they're okay, but they're really not. All the games and all that kind of stuff. Now, we all know that being happy for someone is a good thing. Not a lot of people can do that. But I was sitting here thinking, y'all, and I think right now, and it sounds crazy how I'm going to say it. In my opinion, I have the opinion of what could make everyone in this country and the world and all the racism and prejudice stuff. I mean, every bit of it. Now, people have thought about it before and said it certain ways, but not like this one. So, one thing that there's some people that say that Barack Obama was a horrible president, even though him being the first black president, that it was worse because he actually did nothing for black people. Right? Okay, I mean, you can see why someone would say that, but that's not technically true, but you can see why they would say that. A lot of people on social media are talking about their impressions of stuff and what they think things should be. There's always a whole lot of racial tension. And when I thought about something right now, it had spawned from the thing in Florida with one of the classes being canceled. The media has hyped it up way too much. Florida is not going to ban the studies of African Americans. They're not going to do that. The whole thing had to do with an advanced course. It was something else that's not even, it's just that one class there. It's not completely. So that's not what happened. And you want to go more of that, just go ahead and read it yourself. You got it. But what I did when I thought about it is some of the people that were talking about it, I actually was going to reach out to them and privately tell them what I thought and see if they were okay. I could share with them and we all try to talk about it more. I'm like, you know what? No, that's not what I need to do, because that's why this platform exists. And basically, I proved to myself what I was talking about. One thing that people keep saying is that, black men, black people in general don't have a voice. Don't have a voice. There's no one advocating for them. Now, if we go to everything else we've seen on TV and hear all the stuff, everyone has their thoughts about it. But I can tell you one thing, that we all know that with the black population, there is a different kind of stigma. Nobody can really pinpoint what it is. But this whole thing, and again, I feel like this is it. If someone else can have their own opinion or completely throw this one out, that's fine. But if you can find any discrepancy with what I'm talking about, I would love to hear it. Right? So what has been said a lot is having a voice for black people, for someone that's going to do for blacks. They're going to keep blacks as the head thing going on, like Umar, who we've talked about before. And I respect, I have no issue with that. But when we start to have a bad thing going on, when people have a different idea of how to do it, and for people that want to be more aggressive, that's not necessarily going to work the best. But some people are more passive. That's not always going to work the best. So here's what I was thinking about to come to a conclusion. When I realized I didn't have to ask anyone else to say what I wanted to say to give my opinion, that's when I really saw it. Guys, the way that this has worked, the reason why it doesn't seem like black people have a voice, let me tell you why. Black people were given a voice, that's why they don't have one. That seems crazy, right? Black people have a voice. That's why they don't have a voice. What I mean by that, black people are given, and we could debate on this, take any racial thing you want to think about. Cultures, men, women, whatever. If a black man says it, he's not going to get crucified for it. Never happened. In the other race, sure. But the reason why I'm saying about having a voice, how can people have an intelligent conversation with you if you don't know what they're talking about? If we're not from this country originally, and we don't know the language, we don't know the customs. You got to figure stuff out as you go, right? So because slavery was wrong and people know that, affirmative action has happened, black people have a chance, but they have a bad chance. And we're not seeing a whole lot of that. But that's exactly what's going on. When we sit here and go for a competition, we go for a debate and an argument. Whatever we're doing, we have to have what we have to make ourselves known for that. Anyone around say, hey man, I'm going to start me a football team. People generally understand what you're going to do with a football team, all the things you have to get. They get all that. But someone say, I want to start a wrestling team somewhere. Well, you know what I mean? Who can you find someone that actually did wrestle and actually wrestle that's worth something that can actually teach it and be in the school system? It's so many small, minute things that go into all of that. Start a wrestling team, tennis, golf. Those things are not very easy because we don't, as people, always use those in normal day stuff. I'm talking about black people now, okay? So the reason I'm saying it because if we have an opportunity to start a football team, but no one's played football before, but we have open range to do it, we don't know what to look for. If we say, hey man, go and do whatever you want to do, you don't even understand the concept of the thing we're trying to be the best at. So how are you going to prosper? The slang that people like to talk with when black people talk about stuff, the little different flavors and stuff. Hey man, that's not just because we're so hip or anything like that. What do you think is supposed to happen if no one teaches you how to speak? I mean, so people are going to adopt parts of their culture. They're going to take parts from other people. They got a heavy influence, but a heavy influence on something they still don't know about, right? So you take anyone and put them in a hood that they've never been in, or a place in the world they've never been in, they're going to learn, they're going to adjust. That's what happens. So if you throw people in a situation, don't give them any means of doing anything, but tell them they can do whatever they want, what do you think is going to happen? Not much. So if someone's going to compete against you, or you compete with someone else, and you're already starting back 4 steps behind, by the time you catch up to where they were, they're already way past you, man, way past you. When people say someone's going to talk white, I'm talking like a white person. You just don't know as a black person these things are what are said. Now that's not a white thing. If you understand how to talk about the actual technical terms for something, not slang, that's not talking white. I mean, it's not. So most people think associating it with you not loving yourself and loving your race and that kind of thing, that's not it at all. If anyone knows how to wrestle, you know, you can sound different. If you don't know how to wrestle, you can't understand the lingo. I mean, that's it. Now, the one thing we also have to do, because we have an open voice to do something, but we're not told how to do it the right way, we have a million different opinions on how to make something work. Everyone at the same time is right and wrong. Interracial relationships are right and wrong. Not being in a racial relationship, right and wrong. Not voting Democrat or Republican, right and wrong. Everything is still the same. But everyone's going to have a reason why their opinion matters. But the number one thing we got to do is take the opinion, throw it away somewhere, learn something. And that's on all of us individually. So black people have a voice, they're just not an educated voice. And they're just not going to be a universally educated voice. Some people want to get up on other ones. Some people don't want to share the wealth they got. Some people do it too much. Some people get screwed over. Everyone has a vice. You're not going to have the exact same people everywhere to put everyone on the same accord. It's not going to happen. So you want to think about stuff, man, that if I'm going to make the best out of myself, I have to understand what it is to pay attention to. The only way I'm going to get that is from someone in the past generation talking to me about it. I do my research, then we just keep going. If no one's going to take time to sit and speak with you and understand what we're doing, none of this stuff is ever going to work. So really the thing that's going to stop all the stuff from happening, if you pick up a book, you go to a website, you do your own learning, go all the way through with it, all of it. And when you make yourself stronger, make yourself better, there's nothing that can dispute you. Now, it's still going to be hard. Everyone can understand. Listen, I'm so happy right now that I feel better. I mean, people understand the things that were happening with my children and all that. All these illegal lies and crap folk been talking about. Been a couple of people I've still been able to talk to let them see all the entities that have acted illegally And, some stuff is in the works, but because of that, me being with my children how I want to doesn't happen. And I can't explain to y'all what that feels like to be a father that wants to be involved bad, but they're being held away from it. And anyone that I've spoken with in professional settings, so not just someone I know, so that's, basically court, we'll just leave it at that. All those entities understand exactly what happened, and no one can say anything to me, and that look on their face like, please don't say nothing about this, because everyone will get fired. Now I can tell you, I don't really want that to happen, but I don't care if it does, because something's been stolen from me, and I'm not gonna just sit back and let that happen. Now I got two choices. I can fight this the long way, educated way, or I can go ahead and get my refuge now and prove everyone right that says that I'm whatever I am. I'm not gonna do that. What I am gonna do is make sure that people can see, regardless of what you're going through, man, you still in control of your own actions. People make something difficult for me, but it's not impossible. Now, am I willing to be patient? Am I willing to do the work? Am I willing to really put myself in there? And if I get knocked down, get back up. That's the hard thing, y'all. I'm telling you, when you put your all into something and other people are the reason it didn't work, not you, other people, you lose motivation and want to continue. So now we get to that point, those are the folks that are going to be helping other black people learn how to do something. I mean, it's biased and it's not realistic. The one thing I'll tell you, be yourself, but understand how being yourself is going to matter to the rest of the world. I don't care about anyone else and their preference beyond, being a person. I don't want to know what you do at home, none of my business. But if what you do is going to affect me, that's the part that's not right. I don't need to be worried about what you do. You're not worried about what I do. But when are we going to sit here and make sure we understand, guys, the way that you do something, you have to understand where you are and what you're talking about. If you don't understand it by your own standards, what are you going to do? Teaching everything that I teach, from academics to MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything that I teach, hey man, what we're trying to do is let you understand the principle and the concept of it. Now, based on that, what do you do? Not everyone is learning, is like teaching on an elementary level how to catch a football with 3 fingers. No one's doing that. It happens, but no one's doing that. Catch a ball and put on your helmet. I mean, who does that? That's what makes those things exciting. But because of what someone learned how to do in a technical way initially, those things can happen. So the number one thing I can tell y'all right now is, just like we heard when we grew up, that we got to be productive. Y'all, listen, black people have a voice, but if the voice is uneducated, how can the voice be heard? There's no way. So when folks are wondering, giving black people a chance, you have a chance. But please understand that no one's going to tell you how to use that chance effectively. That's where the people older than us come into play. Please stop thinking about what you're going to rap about, the sports you want to do, how many holes you got, what you done been to prison or jail for, you get, man, that stuff is stupid. 90% of you guys ain't did none of stuff in them songs. But I can't tell you they're afraid of their mama. That's just how that goes. You're going to be. If you're not afraid of your mama on that kind of term, you're not a good person. I can tell you that now. And it's not afraid like, is it, hey man, when Susan B say, boy, look, I got to remember, all right, I'm almost 40 years old, but that's my mama. And we understand that. It's not a terrifying thing, but the respect for your parents, respect for elders, respect for authority. If we have those, you're already in the game. But we got to stop blaming other people for what we don't know. If the internet is there, y'all, guess what? Google something. Who says you have to stop reading at one page? You have all the information right there for you. So are we going to want someone to do it for us? Or are we going to cave our own way? I mean, that's my goal, is to be sitting at the table with people that make decisions. I don't want to just have to wait for someone to tell me what to do. I want to sit at the table and have influence on what everyone else does. That's what we're trying to get to. And guys, the only way we can do that, stop worrying about someone saying this, doing this, they like this, they don't like, man, nobody cares nothing about all that. What's your goal? How much do you want to achieve that? What's something that you're doing that no one else is willing to do for it? Most time, athletics is the biggest thing that's talked about there. how many people train certain ways, how often, what kind of things they do. That's all well and good too. But the concept has to be the same. If someone does a choke on you, you're gonna go to sleep. I don't care what you have in your system, you're going to sleep. If I try to break your arm or you're high, you're drunk, that's a little different. You may not feel that. But if we train all the time to do that part, we can't say stuff doesn't work. So basically, y'all, what the whole thing is, stop waiting on someone to give you something. Don't wait on that. If you feel like you're being passed by, why do you have to just sit there? You don't. Now, again, I am not saying things won't be made difficult. I can tell you right now what God prepared me for. I thought I was ready, but I'm not ready still. It hurts. My children, that's my life. That's my life. And I've been talking about that for the longest. What I want is to make God happy by being the husband that I should be. I need my wife to smile. I need her happy, because if she's happy, guess what? I'm good. If she's proud of me, I'm good with that. I need my children to say I love them. I want to be with them. There's nothing I won't do for them. Once those things are there, everything else can fall into place. But the perspective we need to have is, how in the world are we going to use what people know already, put it to what we have, preserve it, and give it to someone else? If we don't educate ourselves, and I'm not talking about just going to school, I mean really sit and think about it. What are the elements of a wrestling team? And when you look at all that, man, you really can figure it out. No one just gave you a format, though. So I'm gonna wrap this up, man. Y'all listen, give me a shout, comment on this. You know how to do all that stuff, man. I just want to throw something at you guys. This weekend gonna be great. I want y'all to prosper, live good, do your thing, and holla at you.